The girl, dumped by her boyfriend for being too ugly, ripped off her 300,001 necklace and flung it into the ocean. Turning to leave with a show of indifference, she was immediately struck with regret. Even scrimping and saving for a whole year wouldn't have been enough to buy that necklace. She quickly shed her coat and jumped into the sea. A man, observing from afar, mistook her actions for a suicide attempt. He sprinted towards the shore and, without a word, dove in, ready to play the hero. He drastically overestimated his swimming abilities. Before reaching her, he'd swallowed enough seawater to fill his stomach. The girl, having dived for what felt like forever, couldn't find the necklace. Just as she was about to give up, she heard the man's frantic cries for help. Her eyes widened in surprise. She quickly swam to him, grabbed his hair, and hauled him back to shore. Seeing him unconscious, she immediately began CPR. After her persistent efforts, he finally came to. Suddenly, he pulled her into a hug, encouraging her not to lose hope, even after being dumped. The girl realized he had misinterpreted her actions. Grateful for his well-meaning but ultimately useless attempt at rescue, she took him home. To their mutual astonishment, they discovered they lived across the hall from each other. They both found this coincidence incredibly hard to believe. The man then remembered neither of them had eaten. He made a plate of noodles for her, calling it a thank you gift for saving him from drowning. Given the string of bizarre coincidences, she initially hesitated to accept. But, realizing she lacked a drinking buddy, she invited him in. He was surprised to see her table laden with food and alcohol. She casually explained that heartbreak called for extra nourishment. Before he could fully process this new cultural insight, she expertly poured half a glass of soju, topped it off with beer, and gave it a swirl. She presented him with the strange concoction, her practiced movements leaving him wide-eyed. After a few glasses of the peculiar mixture, conversation flowed easily. When they exchanged names, they were both stunned. "I'm Song Soo Hyuk. And you?" "Han Mai Mo." They were elementary school classmates. During a school play, Soo Hyuk, playing Romeo, was supposed to give Mai Mo, playing Juliet, a final kiss. But at the crucial moment, a sudden stomach ache sent him running to vomit, making Mai Mo the laughingstock of the school. Classmates teased her, saying Romeo couldn't bring himself to kiss her because she was so ugly. Mai Mo was furious. To get revenge, Mai Mo pulled down Soo Hyuk's pants in front of everyone. From that day on, they became the school's most notorious rivals. Soo Hyuk developed a serious psychological complex. He couldn't leave the house without a belt. Now face to face with his old nemesis, Soo Hyuk was about to demand justice, but Mai Mo waved it away, saying it was nothing compared to being dumped. She tearfully recounted the day's events. Soo Hyuk's heart softened with pity. Fueled by alcohol, he lost control, leaned in, and kissed her, claiming it was to make up for the kiss he owed her. Mai Mo thought that was crazy enough, but then he suggested they do something even crazier. The next morning, Mai Mo woke up to a call from her best friend, congratulating her on her remarriage. Mai Mo nearly threw her phone in frustration. She'd been about to tell her friend about being dumped, but then she noticed a large diamond ring on her finger and blush-inducing items scattered around the room. As she struggled to recall the previous night's events, it dawned on her that she seemed to have gotten engaged. Soo Hyuk, too, received congratulatory calls from friends. He initially thought they were joking, but when they sent him pictures, he saw that he and Mai Mo had registered their marriage. Confronted with this harsh reality, both of them gaped in horror. The girl woke up to find lingerie scattered across the floor. Remembering that she had brought a strange man home for drinks the night before, a sense of foreboding washed over her. At the same time, the man she'd brought home saw the marriage registration photos and realized he was married to a stranger. They both screamed in terror. They pieced together the events of the previous night. Apparently, after getting drunk, they'd stormed into the registry office, weeping and demanding to get married. The clerk, seeing their unstable state, insisted they call a witness. Soo Hyuk called his best friend, Hee-jun. With Hee-jun present, they'd performed a makeshift proposal ceremony right there and then registered their marriage. Remembering everything, they felt their world crumble. Mai Mo rushed to Soo Hyuk's door, only to find he wasn't home. She wanted to call him, but she didn't have his number. Desperate, she called the registry office to ask how to cancel the registration, only to be told she couldn't. She'd have to get a divorce. Mai Mo froze. Soon after, Soo Hyuk returned. They immediately started arguing. Mid-argument, Soo Hyuk noticed the lingerie on the floor. His eyes widened in fear, and he asked My Mo if anything had happened between them. My Mo firmly stated that nothing had happened. That kind of going big wasn't her style. This only confused Soo Hyuk further, as images of a cow print outfit had been haunting his dreams every night. A chill ran down their spines, and they rushed back to the registry office to demand an explanation. The clerk, exasperated, pointed out that they were the ones who'd insisted on getting married, and now they wanted to undo it. Was marriage a joke to them? After a thorough scolding, they learned the truth. The clerk hadn't processed their registration. Instead, he and Hee-jun had stalled them, persuading them to wait until they were sober. Relieved that it was all a misunderstanding, they went to a cafe to talk. The awkwardness hung heavy in the air. They agreed to treat it as a drunken mishap, never to be spoken of again. They said their goodbyes. As Soo Hyuk left, My Mo looked at the cafe. She remembered saying goodbye to her ex-husband there, their once sacred vows now a distant memory. The pain still lingered, but life went on, and she tried to move forward. Not long after, at a party, she ran into her ex-husband. She couldn't hide her flustered excitement at seeing him after so many years. She straightened her clothes and started towards him. But just as she was about to greet him, a beautiful young woman appeared at his side. My Mo froze, then quickly turned and made a swift escape. Seeing her ex-husband so happy filled her with a pang of sadness. Later, she recounted the story to her close friends, complaining that her ex-husband's new girlfriend was using her ample bust to taunt her. Apparently, her ex had claimed he left because he wasn't happy living with her. But she suspected he'd left simply because she wasn't physically attractive enough. However, her friends barely reacted. Da-young had been sleeping in a separate bedroom from her husband for 7 years, and he'd been urging her to divorce him daily. Dong-mai hadn't been intimate with a man in 3,000 days. Her lips had long forgotten the feeling of a kiss. And Anne was preparing for her wedding, but not to the man she loved. Compared to their problems, My Mo's seemed insignificant. Despite her friends' reassurances, My Mo remained fixated on the issue. Later, while introducing a potential match to a client looking for a young, beautiful woman with a model's figure, My Mo lashed out, declaring, "Flat chests can save the world. Big breasts just waste resources." The outraged client stormed out. Dong-mai, also annoyed, scolded My Mo for letting her emotions interfere with her work as a remarriage consultant. But My Mo couldn't let it go. Seeing this, Dong-mai urged her to confront her ex-husband and get some closure. So My Mo met with her ex and asked him point-blank why he'd left her. He repeated his claim about being unhappy. Unconvinced, My Mo questioned whether another woman was involved. He countered that their lack of trust was the source of their unhappiness. The meeting devolved into an argument, shattering any remaining good memories. Dejected, My Mo returned home. In the lobby, she overheard a chilling story. A beautiful, wealthy woman had choked to death on fried chicken. My Mo had seen this woman that morning, proudly showcasing her curvy figure. Shaken, My Mo believed this was the tragic consequence of being single. Determined to avoid a similar fate, My Mo swore off fried chicken. For added safety, she called her friends, instructing them to check on her regularly to make sure she was still alive. She believed these measures would guarantee her safety. But that night, as she slept, she felt dizzy and lightheaded, even falling out of bed. Terror seized her. With great effort, she dialed emergency services. Due to a paramedic's oversight, she was transported to the hospital in her revealing pajamas. Adding to her embarrassment, the doctor on duty was Soo Hyuk's friend, Hee-jun. He averted his gaze, flustered by her attire. After a thorough examination, he reassured her, "It's just benign paroxysmal positional vertigo. Nothing serious." My Mo finally relaxed. To spare her further embarrassment, Hee-jun took off his doctor's coat and draped it over her. Facing this handsome and considerate man, My Mo felt a flutter in her chest. As she was taken to the main lobby for enrollment 4, Hee-jun, mistaking her for Soo Hyuk's wife, addressed her affectionately as sister-in-law. But My Mo stared intently at him. As Hee-jun shifted uncomfortably, she blurted out, "Would you think I'm crazy if I said I liked you?" "What? I guess I need to remarry. I want to marry this man." This woman rushed to the in her pajamas in the middle of the night. had unexpectedly fallen in love with her doctor amidst her embarrassment. Instead of waiting patiently, she boldly confessed her feelings to Hee-jun. However, believing her to be Soo Hyuk's fiancé, he was stunned, asking if her illness was causing hallucinations. Mi-mo insisted her feelings were genuine. Seeing his bewildered expression, she was about to explain that she wasn't Soo Hyuk's fiancé. Just then, her friend Dong Mi rushed into the hospital, frantic about Mi-mo's condition. Seeing Mi-mo wearing the doctor's coat, she assumed some kind of romantic escapade was underway and playfully pulled it open to see what was underneath. She was horrified to discover Mi-mo was only wearing her pajamas. Dong Mi gasped, while Hee-jun became extremely embarrassed. At that moment, a new emergency case arrived, and Hee-jun quickly excused himself. Mi-mo's confession was left hanging in the air. After her treatment, Mi-mo asked the nurse if she could take the doctor's coat and return it later. Learning that Mi-mo had been wearing only pajamas, the nurse readily agreed. This incident quickly became the hospital's latest gossip. Back home, clutching the doctor's coat, Mi-mo was filled with regret. Her impulsive confession mortified her, and she felt like crawling into a hole. Meanwhile, alerted by Hee-jun, Soo Hyuk arrived at the hospital. Learning that Mi-mo had been discharged, he chatted with Hee-jun, who finally learned that Mi-mo and Soo Hyuk were just friends. Their drunken pact to find each other spouses had been nothing more than that. Understanding the situation, Hee-jun found himself even more attracted to Mi-mo. The next day, Mi-mo ironed the doctor's coat and sprayed it with cologne. But she hesitated to return it, fearing Hee-jun would think she was strange. Seeking help, she met with Soo Hyuk. Just as she was about to ask him to clarify things with Hee-jun, Soo Hyuk revealed he had already done so. Mi-mo was overjoyed. The following day, she cheerfully returned the coat to Hee-jun and confessed her feelings again. To her surprise, he rejected her, stating he didn't want to get involved in a complicated three-person relationship. Mi-mo tried to explain that she and Soo Hyuk were just friends and no one would get hurt. But Hee-jun insisted he didn't want to jeopardize his friendship with Soo Hyuk, as Mi-mo wasn't special enough to warrant that. Heartbroken, Mi-mo left. However, to her astonishment, Hee-jun soon approached Soo Hyuk, asking him directly if he had feelings for Mi-mo. Though Soo Hyuk admitted finding Mi-mo intriguing, he denied any romantic interest. Armed with this answer, Hee-jun went to Mi-mo's matchmaking agency and submitted his own application, asking her to find him a partner. Mi-mo stared, dumbfounded. "What's happening? My hands are shaking. Don't spill the tea." They had once been members of a famous Korean girl group, but rivalry and jealousy led to sabotage during a performance, when a malicious member deliberately stepped on Mi-mo's foot. Expecting Mi-mo to back down, she was met with a swift kick to the face. A brawl erupted, complete with hair pulling and punches. The ensuing scandal led to the group's disbandment. Years later, Mi-mo, now leading a normal life, co-founded a successful remarriage agency with her former bandmate Da-young. The very man she had confessed to just days ago now stood in her office, asking for her matchmaking services. Flustered, Mi-mo's hands trembled as she held her teacup, her composure slipping as she inquired about his requirements. Hee-jun, having received the answer he sought, didn't register and simply left. Hee-jun's unexpected visit left Mi-mo confused. Determined to understand his intentions, she sought him out after work, urging him to register with her agency. He refused. Mi-mo offered numerous incentives, but Hee-jun revealed his true purpose. He wasn't there to become a client, but to introduce himself to Mi-mo. Hearing Mi-mo's explanation, Hee-jun's response left her feeling played and furious. He revealed he wouldn't sign up as a member of her matchmaking service because doing so would prevent them from dating. The company policy, after all, forbade relationships with clients. Mi-mo was in disbelief, even asking Hee-jun to slap her to see if she was dreaming. He pulled her into a hug instead. From that moment on, their relationship officially began. Later, Mi-mo asked why he was interested in her. Hee-jun confessed that he'd been a fan since her girl group days. While the Mean Girl member was the most popular, Hee-jun had fallen for Mi-mo at first sight. He'd been heartbroken when the group disbanded. Learning that Hee-jun was such a devoted fan made Mi-mo feel proud of her time in the group for the first time. Soon after, Mi-mo and her friends went for their annual health checkups. Afterward, they spied on Hee-jun from a distance. Mid-gossip, a high school girl interrupted them. Before they could react, she declared Hee-jun her man, claiming she'd marry him as soon as she was old enough. Faced with a threat to her rare chance at remarriage, Maimo's protective instincts kicked in. She adopted a matronly tone to scold the girl. Undeterred, the teenager flaunted her ample chest, mocking Maimo's less developed figure despite her older age. Maimo, glancing down at herself, fumed. The checkup results arrived shortly after. Comparing notes with her friends, Maimo was thrilled to discover her uterus was as healthy as a 29-year-old's, despite being 34. She immediately told Hee-jun she was still capable of having children. While taken aback by her bluntness, he was happy with her honesty. Meanwhile, Soo-hyuk had been struggling with his feelings ever since learning about Maimo and Hee-jun. He regretted telling Hee-jun he wasn't interested in Maimo. Seeing her radiant with newfound love only intensified his discomfort. He even ended up drunk and asleep in front of his door. Returning home, Maimo found him and tried to help him inside, but she stumbled and landed in his lap. They locked eyes, the air thick with tension. As she scrambled to get up, he cupped her face, gazing at her intensely, and leaned in. Just then, thankfully, Soo-hyuk passed out. Maimo breathed a sigh of relief. Unsure what to do, she was interrupted by a young boy, Soo-hyuk's son. Seeing their compromising position, the boy asked, "Is it true that if a man and a woman lie together, they'll make a baby?" Flustered, Maimo assured him that babies couldn't be made in hallways. Together, they managed to get Soo-hyuk inside. As Maimo prepared to leave, Soo-hyuk's son offered her a drink. They chatted, and she learned that Soo-hyuk hadn't dated anyone in years, raising his son alone. She felt a pang of sympathy for him. The next day, the boy recounted the previous night's events to Soo-hyuk. Mortified by his near misstep, Soo-hyuk was embarrassed to face Maimo. But as he left his apartment, he ran into her. Feigning amnesia, he was caught off guard when she asked if he was lonely. Flustered, he denied understanding her. Maimo simply handed him a business card, saying, "If you ever feel lonely, come to my company. I'll find you the perfect remarriage partner." Looking at the business card, Soo-hyuk was mortified. Soon after, their friend Ae Ran's wedding arrived. Maimo watched the happy couple on stage with envy, but their vows were barely finished when a group of women stormed in. These women were all the groom's ex-girlfriends. Hailing from different countries, they represented a veritable United Nations of exes. Ae Ran was livid, while Maimo and their other friends gaped in astonishment. Despite the interruption, Ae Ran reluctantly finished the ceremony. As soon as the formalities were over, a fiery argument erupted at the hotel. Given Ae Ran's own colorful romantic history, Maimo and the others weren't surprised by the confrontation. Later, Maimo visited a restaurant looking for someone, but her chef ex-boyfriend pulled her aside, demanding to know if she was trying to ruin his life and ordering her to stay away. Enraged, Maimo threw her high heel at his head. Soo-hyuk happened to witness this scene. Seeing that reporters were about to catch the clash, he quickly intervened, shielding Maimo and signaling her ex to escape. It turned out that Maimo had heard her ex was about to propose. Excited, she'd gone to his restaurant, only to discover he intended to propose to her hated former bandmate. Furious, she'd smashed a cake in his face. Soo-hyuk, an entertainment reporter, had captured that incident as well. To protect Maimo from becoming tabloid fodder, he hadn't published the story. However, another reporter was still pursuing it. That's why Soo-hyuk had intervened, trying to prevent the other reporter from witnessing the latest confrontation. Afterward, Maimo put her terrible ex firmly behind her and dove into a passionate romance with Hee-jun. However, she was surprised that despite their time together, Hee-jun remained physically distant. A girl was dating a handsome guy, but their dates consisted of nothing more than movies and dinner. She longed for more, even just a kiss, but nothing happened. Hoping to move their relationship forward, she invited him over to her apartment. For this date, Maimo meticulously decorated her place, lit candles to create a romantic atmosphere, and slipped into a sexy dress. When everything was ready, she heard a knock, but it wasn't her boyfriend, Hee-jun, at the door. It was her neighbor across the hall, Soo-hyuk. Soo-hyuk had come over to discuss their elementary school reunion, but upon seeing the romantic setup, he instantly realized Maimo was expecting Hee-jun and began teasing her mercilessly. Annoyed, Maimo tried to send him away, which only seemed to fuel Soo Hyuk's jealousy. Just then, Hee-jun arrived. Soo Hyuk rushed out to greet him enthusiastically. Hee-jun explained he was there to see Maimo and would talk to Soo Hyuk another time. But Soo Hyuk was relentless, insisting on chatting. Despite Soo Hyuk's persistent attempts, Hee-jun finally entered Maimo's apartment. Inside, surrounded by the romantic ambience, they chatted happily and watched a romantic movie. As the mood grew more intimate, they leaned in for a kiss. But at that very moment, Soo Hyuk bombarded Hee-jun with text messages. Frustrated by the interruption, Hee-jun turned off his phone. They tried again for their kiss, but this time, Maimo's dog started tugging on Hee-jun's pants leg. Exasperated, Maimo kicked the dog away. They went in for a third attempt, but the doorbell rang. Speechless, they tried to ignore it, but the ringing persisted. Maimo reluctantly opened the door to find a breathless Soo Hyuk holding a plate of fried chicken. Fuming, Maimo invited him in. Once settled, Soo Hyuk began mixing a strange concoction Maimo had prepared earlier. Thanks to his constant interruptions, the romantic mood was completely shattered. From then on, Maimo and Hee-jun's relationship progressed no further than holding hands. Meanwhile, her friend Dong Mai and her boyfriend, who had been dating for less than a week, were inseparable. Envious, Maimo wondered if she had lost her feminine charm, or if Hee-jun simply wasn't interested. Dong Mai even teased her, questioning her appeal and Hee-jun's desire. Maimo grew increasingly worried. Just when she was at a loss, the high school girl who had previously claimed Hee-jun as her own reappeared. Maimo initially ignored her, but the girl dropped a bombshell. Hee-jun's ex-wife was an obgyn at the same hospital as Maimo. This news invigorated her. Determined to learn more about Hee-jun, Maimo feigned illness daily, using it as an excuse to approach his ex-wife. After numerous attempts, Hee-jun's ex-wife caught on. To stop Maimo's pestering, she revealed the reason for their divorce. Hee-jun was too passive. After discovering that Hee-jun was a genuine, no-nonsense leading man, Maimo decided to take the offensive again. She even went online to learn magic tricks for this occasion. But unexpectedly, right before their date, Hee-jun had a last-minute emergency and couldn't make it. Coincidentally, Soo Hyuk witnessed Maimo practicing her tricks. Soo Hyuk offered himself as a practice dummy. Maimo immediately started performing her magic act with Soo Hyuk. This won't work. Why not? This really won't work. What's going on? Hurry, it's burning, it's burning. I told you it wouldn't. The girl, wanting to surprise her boyfriend, found another man to practice her magic on, but unexpectedly, she carelessly let the flames spread to her hair. The girl screamed in terror. The man quickly grabbed a glass of water and threw it at her, but it didn't help. So, he ended up grabbing a pitcher of water and dumping it directly on her, quickly extinguishing the flames. The girl was completely soaked. Afterward, Soo Hyuk drove Maimo home. When they got to the parking garage, Soo Hyuk saw that Maimo was shivering from the cold, so he took off his jacket and put it around her. To warm Maimo up, Soo Hyuk even helped her rub her arms. However, to their surprise, Hee-jun witnessed everything. He immediately became jealous, and even though Maimo greeted him enthusiastically, he was cold and distant. He then abruptly took off Soo Hyuk's jacket, put his own jacket around her, and pulled her away. This territorial display left Soo Hyuk feeling very awkward. Back at home, Maimo and Hee-jun were both preoccupied with what he had seen earlier. Seeing a paper bag on the table, Hee-jun asked what it was. Because it contained the magic props, Maimo felt embarrassed and lied, saying it was nothing. But Hee-jun pressed her, asking why she and Soo Hyuk were together. Maimo was very disappointed and asked him if he wasn't curious about why she was in such a disheveled state. Hee-jun then realized he had only been angry and had forgotten to ask Maimo what had happened. Maimo was upset and said she wanted to take a shower and go to bed, and told Hee-jun to go home. Hee-jun didn't say anything, stood up, grabbed his jacket, and left. His indifferent behavior made Maimo feel even more like he didn't care about her. In contrast, Soo Hyuk, even though Maimo hadn't said anything, proactively brought her cold medicine and sincerely asked how she was feeling. This made Maimo even more doubtful about whether Hee-jun really liked her. But the next day, Maimo felt like she had been too sensitive. She had been planning to call Hee-jun to talk. but she thought she shouldn't be too forward, so she abandoned that idea. But she kept hoping Hee-jun would call, but she waited all day and didn't receive a single call. That evening, she ended up drinking her special concoction while calling her best friend, Dong-mai, to cry and vent. Dong-mai also told her that she shouldn't confess first, because once a woman takes the initiative to express her feelings, all control falls into the man's hands, and the man won't know how to cherish the woman. After listening to Dong-mai's analysis, Maimo felt more and more that it made sense, so she became even more despondent. However, what she didn't know was that during the day at work, Hee-jun's ex-wife had come to see him, telling him about the time she had met Maimo. After learning this, Hee-jun was very unhappy, so he contacted Maimo. After Maimo and Dong-mai ended their call, Maimo noticed that Hee-jun had called her many times. At this moment, thoughts of self-doubt started to arise. Coincidentally, Hee-jun called again at this very moment. Maimo rushed to their meeting spot. After she sat down, Hee-jun took out earplugs, put them in her ears, and told her not to believe what other people said. Then, he took out photos he had been keeping for years, which were memorabilia from when Maimo was still a member of a girl group. After seeing them, Maimo was deeply touched. Hee-jun took the opportunity to tell her that in this relationship, even though Maimo was the one who confessed first, he had been in love with her for 13 years, so she didn't need to worry that his love would be any less than hers. After hearing Hee-jun express his feelings, Maimo finally untied the knot in her heart. To celebrate this beautiful moment, they prepared to share a passionate kiss. But right at that moment, Maimo remembered that she had just eaten dried squid. The enthusiastic couple, ready to exchange a fiery kiss, were interrupted by the girl's sudden realization that she had indulged in dried squid earlier. Therefore, she had to quickly apply the brakes and switch to a cheek kiss instead. The man worried that he had done something wrong, feeling anxious and unsure of what to do. Maimo also felt embarrassed. After returning home, she immediately brushed her teeth vigorously, lamenting that she had missed her first intimate opportunity in months. Very quickly, the date arrived. This time, Hee-jun accidentally discovered Hee-jun's credit card payment notification. Hee-jun didn't hide anything and confessed to Maimo that he was heavily in debt. Maimo outwardly said she didn't mind, but deep down, she was extremely worried. So the next day, at work, all she could think about were Hee-jun's debts. She felt like she couldn't calm down, but she kept reassuring herself that love would conquer all. Just then, Hee-jun sent her a message, telling her to focus on working hard and making money, and that a woman who makes money is attractive. Maimo was horrified. However, what she didn't know was that Hee-jun was just joking with her. While Maimo was anxiously worried, Soo Hyuk's son suddenly showed up at their company. Faced with this sudden appearance, Maimo felt very strange and asked him why he had come. The boy took out his savings book that his father had given him and asked Maimo to find him a remarriage partner. Seeing that the boy really wanted to help his father, Maimo said she would help for free. But the boy didn't want to accept free help, insisting on giving his savings to Maimo. Therefore, Maimo had no choice but to accept it. That evening, upon returning home, the son told Soo Hyuk that there was a volunteer activity on Monday and hoped that Soo Hyuk could go with him. Soo Hyuk didn't see any problem and agreed immediately. But the next day, a colleague announced that a female celebrity was at the wedding dress shop, telling him to hurry over there to get a story. Therefore, Soo Hyuk had to break his promise to his son. Just as the boy was feeling sad about this, Maimo came looking for him, placing pictures of beautiful girls on the table, telling him to choose a stepmother for himself. But unexpectedly, the boy wasn't satisfied with anyone because he wanted a stepmother who was pure, unedited, and gentle. Hearing this, Maimo said that this was a bit difficult in Korea, telling him not to be too unrealistic. Therefore, the boy had to lower his requirements. Eye and nose surgery were grudgingly acceptable, but if they had ever touched bone, then no way. Maimo found this challenging, but she had to agree to search according to the boy's requirements. After the introductions, the boy said he wanted to go participate in a volunteer activity. After learning that the boy was alone, Maimo said she could go with him. Then, the two went together to the volunteer activity location. The men quickly recognized that Maimo used to be a member of a girl group, and they all turned to look at her with admiration. This made My Mo feel very proud, but her appearance made the homeroom teacher jealous. Therefore, while transporting coal, she kept trying to pick a fight with My Mo. Over here, after arriving at the wedding dress shop, Soo Hyuk discovered that his colleague had made a mistake. This made Soo Hyuk very annoyed. After scolding his colleague, he also arrived at the volunteer activity location. Seeing that My Mo had also come to help, Soo Hyuk was very touched. Therefore, during the subsequent activity, Soo Hyuk always secretly helped My Mo. When the volunteer activity ended, Soo Hyuk noticed that My Mo had injured her ankle, which made him very worried. So, when they got back to the parking garage, Soo Hyuk insisted on giving My Mo a piggyback ride home, but My Mo stubbornly refused. Soo Hyuk then resorted to a more forceful approach, practically carrying My Mo home in his arms. However, who would have guessed that Hee Jun would witness this scene, making him feel utterly betrayed. A furious anger surged through his mind. This guy was a college student, yet he was already raising a child. While others were enjoying the carefree days of their youth, he was stuck taking care of a kid, and it was all because of his handsome face. Because he was so good-looking, he was pursued by female students as soon as he entered college. Very quickly, the two of them started a sweet romance. However, unexpectedly, not long after tasting forbidden fruit, the female student died during childbirth. The girl's older brother blamed the whole thing on the guy, saying that if his sister hadn't been involved with a piece of trash like him, she wouldn't have died so young, warning the guy never to get involved with another girl, because he was only good at killing people. From that point on, the guy's life underwent earth-shattering changes, his will faded, and he completely lost the courage to continue living. Hee Jun had personally witnessed these events. Hee Jun encouraged Soo Hyuk, saying that even if he didn't want to live for himself, he had to think about raising his child. After hearing Hee Jun's encouragement, hope was finally rekindled in Soo Hyuk. However, what he didn't know was that his good friend was also deeply in love with his girlfriend. But to make way for the couple, Hee Jun chose to give up. Because there's a kind of love called letting go, being willing to sacrifice for love. But who would have thought that many years later, they would both fall for the same girl? Seeing his girlfriend being carried home by his best friend, the fire of anger burned fiercely in Hee Jun's heart. He even had the urge to rush up and fight Soo Hyuk right then and there, but in the end, he swallowed his anger. Soo Hyuk carried My Mo all the way to her apartment, then placed her on the sofa and brought over a basin of water to massage her feet. My Mo initially wanted to refuse, but Soo Hyuk insisted on doing it. My Mo had no choice but to entrust her feet to him. Seeing how considerate Soo Hyuk was, and thinking about the hardships he faced as a single father, she couldn't help but reach out and pat him on the head. This action completely broke through Soo Hyuk's defenses, but he still tried to maintain his reason, pulling My Mo's hand away from his head, telling her not to reach out to him like that, because it would make him unable to restrain his desire to hold on and never let go. My Mo couldn't help but waver upon hearing this, but she also knew she shouldn't. So, taking advantage of the moment when Soo Hyuk's son returned, she quickly got up and left. At the same time, Hee Jun had been trying to contact My Mo, but no one was answering the phone. This made him feel very worried and angry. He originally intended to rush upstairs to confront the two of them, but at the last moment, he hesitated, because he was afraid that doing so would make things even worse. So, he had no choice but to give up. Meanwhile, Soo Hyuk's colleague accidentally discovered a photo of My Mo on his computer. At this point, the colleague realized that Soo Hyuk had been deliberately helping My Mo conceal the fact that she was involved in a love triangle. Seeing Soo Hyuk abandoning fame and fortune to help My Mo, the colleague immediately realized that Soo Hyuk was in love with My Mo. Because she also liked Soo Hyuk, she planned to publicly reveal this bad news to get revenge on My Mo. After finding out about this, Soo Hyuk immediately had a fight with her. Thanks to Soo Hyuk's timely intervention, the colleague ultimately didn't release the news, but this incident helped Soo Hyuk understand his own heart. In order to pursue his love, he disregarded everything and ran to Hee Jun, then said to his friend, "Hee Jun, I'm sorry, don't do anything that makes you feel guilty. You shouldn't come between us, I'm sorry, I absolutely have to interfere." This man likes his best friend's girlfriend, So he disregards everything and runs in front of his friend to declare that he wants to compete fairly with his best friend. However, his close friend wasn't worried in the slightest. He immediately used reason to remind his friend that doing so would not only get him punched, but would also put them in a love triangle, hurting everyone involved. Furthermore, the people he liked would end up hating him for it. Most importantly, it would disrupt the stable development of a harmonious society. After listening to Hee-jun's passionate lecture filled with righteous principles, Soo-hyuk immediately realized his mistake. Therefore, he had no choice but to abandon his intention to compete for her love. Hee-jun's ex-wife witnessed this entire scene. Her encouragement made Soo-hyuk, who had been considering giving up, determined to express his feelings to Maimo. Because only then would he know whose feelings held more weight in Maimo's heart. After listening to Hee-jun's ex-wife's pep talk, Soo-hyuk ran to Maimo's matchmaking company. After a period of intense mental struggle, Soo-hyuk decided to step inside. While waiting, he overheard the woman sitting next to him constantly complaining about how terrible single fathers were. She then went on to say that single fathers were a burden on remarried women because no girl would ever want to be a stepmother to someone else's child. After hearing the woman say that, Soo-hyuk became increasingly frightened. In order not to cause Hee-jun and Maimo any more headaches, he immediately gave up the idea of confessing his love. Then, without a word, he quickly left. Soon after he left, Maimo heard about his visit. Faced with this come-and-go act, Maimo felt very strange. Therefore, after work, she went to find Soo-hyuk to ask him why he came and then left. Soo-hyuk could only say that the company had an urgent matter. At this point, Maimo remembered Soo-hyuk holding her hand, so she asked why he did that. After hearing this, Soo-hyuk couldn't hide his panic and hastily explained that it had been a long time since a girl had touched his head, so he was a little excited, and told Maimo not to pay too much attention to it. Maimo didn't know what to say. While the atmosphere was filled with awkwardness, Maimo gave Soo-hyuk her son's savings book, recounting how her son had come to her asking for help. She then advised Soo-hyuk not to give up on pursuing a happy life, because only if you're happy will the people around you feel happy, and said that this was her son's concern. After hearing this, Soo-hyuk's mood was very complex. After returning home, looking at his sleeping son and the savings book in his hand, tears streamed down his cheeks. In order not to fail his son's expectations, the very next day, Soo-hyuk went to find Maimo and asked her to help him find a suitable match. On the other side, since Soo-hyuk announced that he wanted to compete with Hee-jun, Hee-jun became increasingly uneasy. But what he couldn't stand was that while Maimo was dating him, the number of times she mentioned Soo-hyuk was increasing. Not wanting Maimo to continue mentioning Soo-hyuk, Hee-jun immediately used a kiss to shut her up, telling her to only think of him and not to mention Soo-hyuk anymore. Seeing Hee-jun so serious, Maimo had no choice but to agree. But the next day, while eating, because she needed to help Soo-hyuk find a partner for remarriage, Maimo mentioned Soo-hyuk again, hoping that Hee-jun could provide her with some information. Unexpectedly, this time Hee-jun reacted extremely seriously, angrily warning Maimo not to talk about Soo-hyuk anymore. At this moment, Maimo realized that Hee-jun's previous romantic kiss was to shut her up. After realizing this, Maimo was very angry, so she argued with Hee-jun. In the end, they finished their meal in discomfort. But no one expected that shortly after the two of them argued, Maimo, who wanted to find Hee-jun to talk things out, unexpectedly saw him intimately blowing sand out of his ex-wife's hair. Maimo was beyond composure. She had just had a fight with her boyfriend. As she was about to seek him out to reconcile, she unexpectedly caught him intimately brushing dust off his ex-wife's hair. To make matters worse, the ex-wife then confessed her feelings, expressing her hope that they could start over. Witnessing this, Maimo was instantly consumed by jealousy. Hee-jun quickly noticed Maimo as well, and in that moment of eye contact, both were stunned into silence. Afterward, Maimo confronted Hee-jun, questioning why he was being so intimate with his ex-wife. Hee-jun explained that he was merely trying to remove dust from her eye, emphasizing that there was nothing between them, and that helping others was the right thing to do. He insisted that Maimo was overreacting. However, Maimo countered that since they were dating, Hee-jun should learn to avoid such situations. She argued that even if the entire solar system were to fall into his ex-wife's eye, Hee-jun should still maintain his distance. Hee-jun still insisted that Mi-mo was being too sensitive. Mi-mo, in turn, felt that they were still entangled with each other. In a fit of anger, Hee-jun questioned Mi-mo's suspicions, asking if she truly believed they had a relationship like that. He then stated that he thought they weren't at that level yet. With that, he stormed off, leaving Mi-mo feeling frustrated and unable to vent her emotions. As he left, she desperately hoped he would suddenly return to make amends, but in the end, she was left to depart in loneliness. Later, she went alone to a street-side pub, reminiscing about her repeated failures in love over the past few years. At that moment, only alcohol seemed capable of soothing her heartache. At the same time, after Hee-jun returned to the hospital, his ex-wife approached him. Hee-jun, in turn, scolded her, telling her to stay away from him in the future. On the other side, under Mi-mo's arrangement, Soo-hyuk officially began going on blind dates. Due to his strikingly handsome appearance, the blind dates went exceptionally well. However, at this very moment, a colleague who liked Soo-hyuk intentionally sabotaged the date, causing the potential match to leave in anger. Soo-hyuk was visibly annoyed, but the colleague then confronted him, questioning why he would rather seek out a previously married woman than give her a chance. Reluctantly, Soo-hyuk was forced to admit that he had no feelings for her. Despite knowing her for over 10 years, he had never felt any attraction towards her, so he asked her to stop pursuing him. The colleague was saddened, but ultimately, she had to accept this reality. Afterward, Soo-hyuk returned home. There, he found Mi-mo completely drunk, slumped on the hallway floor. He intended to help her into her apartment, but Mi-mo refused to give him the access code and even vomited on him. Soo-hyuk was aghast. The security guard, witnessing the scene, screamed in shock. In the end, under the guard's supervision, Soo-hyuk had no choice but to put on protective gear to clean up the mess. The guard curiously asked him how he planned to deal with it, and Soo-hyuk replied that he was going to take it back for a late-night snack. The security guard nearly threw up at the thought. After cleaning up the vomit, Soo-hyuk returned to his apartment, only to find Mi-mo completely undressed and lying on his bed. Although Soo-hyuk was shocked, drawing on his experience of being essentially a monk for 9 years, he gently pulled the blanket over her. The next day, Mi-mo was awakened by the ringing of her phone. Groggy, she answered the call, only to realize that it was Hee-jun looking for her. But at that moment, she discovered that she was in Soo-hyuk's apartment. Facing Hee-jun's insistent knocking and realizing that she was only wearing a nightgown, Mi-mo panicked. The girl was awakened by her boyfriend's call, only to find herself sleeping in her neighbor's apartment across the hall. Making matters worse, her boyfriend was blocking the door. Fearing that her boyfriend would misunderstand, she immediately called Hee-jun, questioning why he was looking for her when they had just had a fight the night before. Having heard her out, Hee-jun replied that the reason he was there was precisely because of their argument. He was there to beg for her forgiveness. Mi-mo, speechless at Hee-jun's irrefutable response, even contemplated ending her life. She declared that she wouldn't forgive him so easily. She instructed him to come see her tomorrow, and the day after as well, and only then would she consider forgiving him. Hee-jun, flustered, didn't know what to do, but he resigned himself to following her instructions. Once Hee-jun had left, Mi-mo realized she was only wearing a nightgown and immediately shrieked. Her scream woke Soo-hyuk. When Soo-hyuk rushed into the living room, Mi-mo was getting ready to leave. Upon seeing Soo-hyuk, she immediately demanded to know why she was in his house. Soo-hyuk explained how she'd thrown up outside his door the night before, but Mi-mo retorted, questioning why he hadn't just taken her home instead of taking off her clothes. This infuriated Soo-hyuk. He insisted he hadn't done that. She had taken them off herself, and he politely reminded her that he had children in the house and hoped she would be a bit more considerate. Mortified, Mi-mo quickly fled. Later, she met up with her group of close friends, but they all seemed burdened with their own worries. Ae-ran, sensing the gloomy atmosphere, recounted how 6 of her husband's ex-girlfriends had caused a scene at their wedding not long ago, and yet she wasn't as upset as they were. She asked them what was going on. Dong-mi lamented that she had not only been scammed out of money and love by a terrible man, but the man was also married. Mi-mo then shared that her boyfriend had been affectionate with his ex-wife. just as everyone was wallowing in their own misery. Da-young dropped the bombshell that she had been diagnosed with breast cancer. Everyone was shocked and wide-eyed. Da-young asked them not to console her, because she only wanted to hear words of encouragement. The friends didn't say much, but that evening they all gathered at Da-young's house. They continued to drink that strange concoction, joyfully played games, and cheered Da-young on to bravely face her illness. This was, perhaps, the most genuine form of sisterhood. Afterward, with the support of her friends, Da-young went into surgery. The surgery was a success. After this operation, the relationship between Da-young and her husband improved significantly. Before long, it was time for Soo Hyuk and Maimo's elementary school reunion. Soo Hyuk suggested they carpool. Soon after, they arrived at the school. The main activity was reopening the time capsule from their childhood and giving the items inside to the current students. When it was Soo Hyuk's turn to give his item to a younger student, he hesitated, because the item inside was actually something he had wanted to give to Maimo. He lied and said the item was age-restricted and not suitable for children. After agreeing to buy a replacement video game worth a few thousand won, Soo Hyuk successfully kept his gift. That evening, because of heavy snowfall, the roads home were blocked, leaving the two stranded at the school. After being arranged by the school teacher, they decided to stay for the night and figure things out the next day. But to their surprise, they were assigned to the same room. This man and woman, who had attended the first grade reunion, did not expect to be put in the same room together. Faced with this situation, Maimo blamed the school for doing something like that, saying it wasn't proper for a single man and a single woman to share a room. On the other hand, Soo Hyuk thought of himself as kind and pure, so he didn't think there was an issue at all. Hearing this, Maimo asked in return, "If you are really pure, then why did you watch something age-restricted when you were 10, and had a child right when you went to university?" Soo Hyuk replied that it was because he was careless, but that didn't mean he was always careless. Maimo refused to argue further, then stated that she wanted to use the restroom. Soo Hyuk wanted to escort her, but Maimo said she found him the scary one and insisted on going alone. After she finished, looking at the elementary school that she hadn't visited in over a decade, she suddenly wanted to take a look around. Then, she entered the school's science lab. While she was carefully observing everything, the lights in the room suddenly went out. She initially thought it was a prank by Soo Hyuk, but after calling out repeatedly without an answer, she became terrified. On the other side, Soo Hyuk also discovered the power outage. Just as he was bewildered by what was happening, he suddenly heard Maimo's terrified scream. He quickly followed the sound to find her, discovering that she had been scared unconscious on the ground. Afterward, Soo Hyuk took Maimo back to her room and called a doctor. But after examining her thoroughly, the doctor said, "Maimo is fine. Just make sure she drinks plenty of warm water." Soo Hyuk didn't quite understand what the doctor meant, so he could only see him out. Then, he sat vigilantly by Maimo's side, taking care of her. Watching Maimo sleeping soundly, memories from their childhood suddenly flooded back. 24 years ago, Soo Hyuk and Maimo were in Romeo and Juliet together. But right before going on stage, a little girl, not wanting Soo Hyuk to kiss Maimo, fed him an apple laced with something. As a result, at the crucial moment, Soo Hyuk couldn't even kiss Maimo before rushing off stage, leaving Maimo to become the laughingstock of the entire school. After that, Soo Hyuk always wanted to apologize to her, but he never found a suitable opportunity. By chance, Soo Hyuk learned that Maimo loved the jewelry box toy in the convenience store. He planned to use it to hold a keepsake from his first love. Soo Hyuk intended to buy the box, but the store owner said it wasn't for sale, and could only be won with 100 arcade tokens. So from then on, Soo Hyuk began a long and arduous campaign. After tireless effort, he finally won 100 arcade tokens. When he brought the tokens to the store owner, she stared at him in surprise. But after he got the jewelry box, he had to move to America, so he couldn't give it to her. Therefore, he simply put it in a time capsule. Remembering the past, he felt a pang of regret. So, taking advantage of Maimo's deep sleep, he confessed his childhood crush on her. Then, he marveled at how fate had arranged for them to meet again, finding immense happiness in that. But now, when he loves her, she is the girlfriend of his close brother, which caused Soo Hyuk great heartache. After the confession, Soo Hyuk got up and left the room. Then, he placed their fake wedding ring inside the jewelry box as a way to commemorate the end of their fated connection. However, what he didn't know was that the doctor was subtly hinting that My Mo was only pretending to be asleep. My Mo had heard all of Soo Hyuk's confession and even began to waver after hearing it. This man liked the girlfriend of a close friend, so he confessed to her while she was seemingly asleep. However, what he didn't know was that My Mo, who was pretending to be asleep, had heard his entire confession. In fact, after hearing it, My Mo even felt a little conflicted, but she pretended not to hear anything, intending to bury this secret deep in her heart. Over on his side, after finding out that Soo Hyuk and My Mo were stranded at the school, Hee-jun remained uneasy. To quell his anxiety, he drove to the school that very night. The next day, as the two were preparing to leave, Hee-jun coincidentally arrived. So, My Mo left Soo Hyuk with Hee-jun and went home. Once she was back home, Hee-jun confronted My Mo, saying he'd seen her alone with Soo Hyuk many times. She knew that seeing that made him unhappy, so why couldn't she keep her distance from Soo Hyuk? My Mo, feeling hurt, retorted with her own question. Hee-jun replied that Soo Hyuk was his close friend and also her elementary school classmate and neighbor, making it impossible for her to distance herself. Hee-jun grew even angrier, stating, "If you keep doing this, I'm going to have a hard time opening my heart to you, being forgiving, because I'm afraid of getting hurt." My Mo was saddened by this, saying that she and Hee-jun weren't the same. She had always welcomed him with an open heart, but Hee-jun was questioning whether he was the only one in her heart. This time, My Mo remained silent. The conversation caused their relationship to freeze. At the same time, after returning home, Soo Hyuk discovered his jewelry box was missing. While he was searching everywhere for it, he unexpectedly received a call from a colleague, who told him that a female coworker was planning to quit. Therefore, he rushed to the company. As he was leaving, he ran into Hee-jun, who was also preparing to leave. He intended to explain to Hee-jun about the trip to their old school with My Mo, but Hee-jun had no desire to listen. Afterward, Soo Hyuk went to the company to comfort and encourage the colleague who was planning to resign. Not wanting to hurt Soo Hyuk, the colleague deleted the news about My Mo's alleged involvement in a love triangle from her files. However, what she didn't expect was that after she left the company, the colleague who took over her responsibilities restored the photos from the computer's trash bin. Meanwhile, to avoid bothering My Mo and Hee-jun, Soo Hyuk actively participated in blind dates. He imagined that he could find a new world, but he was unexpectedly swarmed by a group of overly enthusiastic women who kept hugging him. Fortunately, his tolerance was high, otherwise he would have almost fled the scene. This frustrated him greatly. As he was about to go find My Mo to complain, he witnessed someone harassing My Mo at her company. He decisively stepped in and chased the scumbag away. This action made My Mo start to develop feelings for him, and from then on, she kept thinking about him. This made her feel uneasy. To stop herself from overthinking, My Mo put up photos of Hee-jun all over her house. Only when surrounded by photos of Hee-jun did she feel somewhat at ease. Coincidentally, at this moment, she received news that Hee-jun was sick, so she rushed to his house to take care of him. While making porridge, she accidentally cut her finger, but she didn't complain at all. Early the next morning, she brought breakfast to Hee-jun's house, intending to help him replenish his energy, but she didn't expect that Hee-jun had recovered and had already gone back to work, without even calling to let her know. This couldn't help but make My Mo feel sad. On her way home, she remembered how every time they went on a date, her heels would ache terribly from wearing high heels, but Hee-jun had never paid attention to that. The more she thought about it, the more upset she became. Afterward, she returned home and coincidentally ran into Soo Hyuk there. They didn't say much, but Soo Hyuk quickly noticed her injured hand, and before leaving, thoughtfully told her to wear comfortable shoes. After comparing everything, My Mo felt that her relationship with Hee-jun was just her one-sided love. Not long after, My Mo's former teammate and her ex-boyfriend had a dispute, which led to a miscarriage. At the same time, photos of My Mo and her former teammate fighting over her boyfriend were leaked. To cover up the fact that the teammate had stolen My Mo's boyfriend, the management company falsely accused My Mo of being the other woman. My Mo was immediately thrust into the eye of the storm. fans of the malicious colleague swarmed to attack Maimo. It was at this moment that Soo Hyuk stepped in to block all the attacks for her, the girl who was falsely accused of being the other woman in the female celebrity's relationship. The fans immediately swarmed to attack. At the most dangerous moment, Soo Hyuk used his body to shield her, protecting Maimo within the safety of his arms. No matter how many rotten eggs the brainless fans threw at him, he persevered in standing in front of Maimo. Under Soo Hyuk's protection, Maimo successfully dodged the attack from the rabid fans. Afterward, Soo Hyuk took her home. To shield Maimo from the vicious rumors and negativity, Soo Hyuk not only unplugged the TV but also shut off all the phones and computers. He told Maimo to rest for the day, to not watch or listen to anything. After hearing Soo Hyuk's comforting and encouraging words, Maimo gradually calmed down. Soo Hyuk then rushed to the office, angrily confronting his colleagues about how his personal photos had been leaked. Seeing that Soo Hyuk was getting increasingly agitated, his supervisor personally stepped in and said it was on his orders. However, to the supervisor's surprise, Soo Hyuk became even angrier upon hearing this. He not only unleashed a barrage of insults on his supervisor, but also kicked over a trash can, then furiously demanded to quit his job. This series of actions scared the supervisor half to death. Meanwhile, Hee-jun also saw the information about Maimo being falsely accused. He immediately went to Maimo's house, gave her a warm embrace, and then took her to a temple to help her shake off her sadness. As they were happily gazing at the moonlight together, Soo Hyuk began revising documents, preparing to help Maimo turn the situation around. However, before he could even finish writing the statement of clarification, Maimo faced another problem. Their company had introduced a wealthy older woman to a potential match, but after the date, both of them suddenly vanished. The woman's son reported them to the police station, suspecting the company of fraud. Maimo initially didn't believe it, but the police told her that all the information about the man they introduced to the older woman was fake, and that he had transferred a large sum of money to Maimo's company, leaving Maimo's team at a loss for words. When Maimo returned to the office, the company was facing another issue. A member's wife had run off with the money. With two pieces of bad news occurring simultaneously, many members flocked to the office and created a ruckus. Faced with the continuous stream of troubles, Maimo was utterly exhausted and had no idea how to resolve them. Soo Hyuk knew about all of this. He immediately asked his colleagues to investigate the whereabouts of the wealthy older woman, then gave his supervisor the content that would help Maimo turn the situation around, demanding that he publish it publicly, or he would really quit. After that, he ran to Maimo's side, constantly encouraging and cheering her on, telling her not to worry, and that he would always be there for her. However, Maimo had already endured too many shocks, and her body couldn't withstand it any longer. So as soon as she got home, she collapsed to the ground, unconscious. Fortunately, Soo Hyuk was on his way to talk to her about the false rumors. After realizing there was a problem, he immediately called the building manager to open the door. Seeing Maimo unconscious on the ground, he panicked and kept calling her name, then quickly rushed her to the hospital. Seeing the doctors busily trying to save Maimo, Soo Hyuk was extremely worried. Hee-jun also quickly found out that Soo Hyuk had taken Maimo to the hospital. To assert his position as her boyfriend, he immediately stopped Soo Hyuk and said that he would take responsibility for taking care of Maimo, telling Soo Hyuk to go home quickly. But unexpectedly, Soo Hyuk said, "Let's fight later. Right now, I only care about this woman." Hee-jun seemed speechless upon hearing this. Faced with this blatant attempt to steal his girlfriend, he didn't know what to say and just let Soo Hyuk stay by Maimo's side. Soon after, Maimo finally woke up. At this point, Soo Hyuk was no longer as agitated as before, so he went to find Hee-jun, apologized, said that he shouldn't have been so impulsive earlier, asked Hee-jun to take care of Maimo, and said that he was leaving first because he had something to do. However, Hee-jun's attitude made it clear that he was uncomfortable. He was supposedly the legitimate boyfriend, but now he felt like he needed someone else's permission to be with his girlfriend. But Soo Hyuk didn't understand Hee-jun's feelings. After saying this, he quietly left, then rushed to the airport, preparing to go to Hong Kong to search for the whereabouts of the wealthy older woman. At that very moment, the exonerating statement for Maimo, carefully crafted by Soo Hyuk, shot to the top of trending searches. Before long, the shameless keyboard warriors shifted their attacks to My Mo's ex-boyfriend and malicious colleagues. Seeing her name finally cleared, My Mo was overcome with tears of relief. Not long after, the suddenly vanished wealthy aunt returned to the country. She then revealed the reason for her disappearance. As it turned out, after being introduced by My Mo, the aunt had become acquainted with an elderly man with silver hair, but he was now penniless. Her son believed he was after his mother's wealth and constantly interfered. However, she was convinced of the old man's sincerity, and therefore asked him to fabricate some information, hoping this would keep her son out of their love affair. Unexpectedly, this caused such a massive problem for My Mo. If Soo Hyuk hadn't gone to great lengths to deliver the news, they still wouldn't know what was happening. So, their reason for returning was to help My Mo clear her name from the fraud accusations. After learning about the things Soo Hyuk had secretly done for her, My Mo's feelings for him deepened even further. At the same time, Soo Hyuk was facing another problem. Because of the statement he wrote, My Mo's colleague was being bombarded with hate. Her obsessive fans believed Soo Hyuk was intentionally slandering their idol, so they camped out in front of Soo Hyuk's company every day. The female celebrity's management company also wouldn't let Soo Hyuk off the hook, showing up at the company to cause a scene and threatening to sue him for defamation, demanding he compensate them for all the damages. Even more seriously, Soo Hyuk couldn't appear in crowded places anymore. If the celebrity's obsessed fans spotted him, they would hurl insults and throw eggs at him. My Mo witnessed this scene firsthand, seeing Soo Hyuk suffering so much because of her, but being unable to do anything, made My Mo's heart ache. That evening, the two met in the park within the neighborhood. Recalling the things Soo Hyuk had done for her, My Mo knew her heart was wavering. She took a step towards Soo Hyuk, but at that moment, ethics and the constraints of her relationship held her back. She could only retreat in fear. But how could one control their feelings when they were in love? Hee Jun also witnessed the entire scene, causing him deep anxiety. At that moment, he felt like he was the third wheel. He didn't know what the right thing to do was, so he went to a bar, trying to numb himself with alcohol. Then, he wandered to the building where My Mo lived. He wanted to contact her, but didn't have the courage to do so. Soo Hyuk, standing on a high floor, saw his lonely figure and decided to go to his friend. Seeing Soo Hyuk dared to appear before him, Hee Jun was furious. He immediately grabbed Soo Hyuk by the collar, questioning why he had turned himself into a pitiful third wheel. Soo Hyuk replied that he couldn't force his heart, and he was also filled with remorse. Hee Jun was even more angry after hearing this and punched Soo Hyuk in the face, then angrily rebuked Soo Hyuk, telling him to get out of his sight. At the same time, besides his brother Hee Jun, Soo Hyuk was also disliked by many colleagues at the company. Because he had offended the largest management company in Korea, many other colleagues faced obstacles in their work. Therefore, they vented all their dissatisfaction on Soo Hyuk. This also caused Soo Hyuk to lose faith in the job of reporter that he had loved for so long, even leading him to consider giving up his career as a reporter. Over here, the relationship between Hee Jun and My Mo had fallen into a state of coldness, and neither of them felt any joy on their dates anymore. This made Hee Jun increasingly uneasy. In an attempt to salvage My Mo's heart, Hee Jun booked a reservation at a famous 5-star restaurant. Before the food even arrived, he pulled out an engagement ring and told My Mo to open it herself. Faced with Hee Jun's sudden proposal, My Mo couldn't hide her panic, because she had already given her heart to Soo Hyuk. Therefore, she could only apologize to Hee Jun and reject his gesture of goodwill. She had intended to confess everything to Hee Jun directly, but he cut her off and left in sadness. Afterward, My Mo returned home alone. As she walked towards the base of her building, a drunk man harassed her, wanting to play with her. Soo Hyuk saw this and immediately rushed over to chase the man away. He wanted to go and comfort My Mo. But upon seeing him, My Mo became agitated, painfully and loudly questioning why he kept interfering in her life, and why he kept showing up and making it impossible for her to be calm. Seeing My Mo suffering so much because of him, and adding to the fact that he had already hurt Hee Jun, Soo Hyuk made an unexpected decision. He planned to take his son to America to live with his parents. At the same time, after listening to her best friend's advice, Maimo decided to confess her feelings to Hee-jun. But Hee-jun deliberately avoided her, so she had no choice but to go to the hospital where he worked and register for an appointment just to see him. Seeing Maimo's determination, Hee-jun simply suggested they break up. Faced with this situation, Maimo felt very guilty towards Hee-jun. After apologizing, she returned the engagement ring, officially ending their relationship. After breaking up with Hee-jun, Maimo returned to her normal life. But just then, she received news that Soo Hyuk had resigned from the newspaper. She immediately ran home, only to find that Soo Hyuk had already left. She could only ring his doorbell every day, hoping for a miracle. Their next encounter was a long time later. While waiting for the elevator, the doors opened to reveal the person she had longed for. Unable to contain her excitement, she almost stumbled. The man quickly caught her, creating a romantic scene. Faced with this unexpected reunion, both were incredibly moved, but they suppressed their feelings, unsure if the other would accept them. This left them in a state of confused uncertainty. Ever since Soo Hyuk's return, Maimo had been distracted. Even at work, she seemed to be in a daze. Her best friend quickly noticed something was wrong and advised her to be brave and tell Soo Hyuk how she felt. Maimo thought back to how she had told Soo Hyuk to stay away from her. How could she ask him to come back now? So, she numbed her pain with alcohol. Meanwhile, Soo Hyuk went to see Hee-jun to thank him for calling him back. It turned out that after Soo Hyuk moved to America, Hee-jun had broken up with Maimo. Hee-jun had also suffered during that time. He wanted to hold on to Maimo, but seeing her constantly reminded him of Soo Hyuk. To free Maimo from her suffering, he decided to forgive Soo Hyuk and called him back. Now, reunited, Soo Hyuk still felt guilty towards his friend. Hee-jun also harbored resentment. To unburden themselves, Hee-jun took Soo Hyuk to the hospital's children's play area, and they playfully engaged in childhood games. After some roughhousing, children joined in the fray, turning the two men into the targets of a playful attack, forcing them to protect each other. After their intense play fight, the two men seemed to have resolved their animosity. Seeing their rekindled friendship, Maimo felt much more at peace. Not long after, Soo Hyuk and his former colleagues went out for drinks and reminisced, but he inadvertently had a bit too much to drink. His colleague had to carry him home. Maimo happened to witness this scene. She intended to go over and greet them, but the security guard stopped her and asked if she knew the person carrying Soo Hyuk. Maimo was surprised to learn that the guard had noticed Soo Hyuk's colleague constantly following her. Confused, Maimo asked the colleague about it. After the colleague explained, Maimo understood. Even though Soo Hyuk was in America, he still worried about her safety and had asked his colleague to discreetly protect her. Knowing that Soo Hyuk had been silently watching over her, Maimo's heart wavered. She decided to stop hiding and bravely confess her feelings to Soo Hyuk, asking him to be with her. Upon hearing this, Soo Hyuk didn't hesitate and immediately ran towards Maimo, giving her a passionate kiss. Thus, they officially became a couple, embarking on a sweet and loving journey. However, what Maimo didn't expect was that the previous difficulties were just the beginning. Before she was ready, Soo Hyuk's childhood sweetheart appeared, intending to insert herself into their relationship. To compete for his affection, the two women began a series of competitions to win over Soo Hyuk. The two women engaged in a culinary showdown. After the timer started, they began cooking, wielding their knives with skillful precision, neither willing to give an inch. The object of their affection, the handsome Soo Hyuk. To win over Soo Hyuk's son, both women used all their culinary skills. Their fierce competition left Soo Hyuk and his son wide-eyed in amazement. This time, they chose to make the same dish, beef stir-fry. Soon, the dishes they prepared were presented to the father and son. Soo Hyuk's son first tasted Maimo's dish. After eating, he declared it very ordinary, nothing special. Maimo felt hurt. Next, he tried the dish made by the childhood sweetheart. He declared it delicious, perfectly suited to his taste, and expressed his desire to eat her cooking again in the future. The childhood sweetheart beamed with triumph, glancing at Maimo with a victorious smirk. Maimo was saddened and at a loss. Back home, Maimo was restless. The more she thought about it, the more she felt. She ran to Soo Hyuk's son and asked him to explain what was wrong with her dish. After a moment of thought, the boy revealed the real reason. The ingredients she used were expired. After Soo Hyuk ate her dish, he suffered from diarrhea. My Mo's eyes widened in horror, and she rushed to care for him. After her attentive care, Soo Hyuk gradually recovered. At his suggestion, My Mo lay down beside him for the night. To thank her for her care, he invited her to a luxurious restaurant. Surrounded by the romantic ambience, My Mo's heart fluttered. To celebrate, they indulged in an expensive bottle of wine. Slightly intoxicated, they went to a handbag store and proceeded to buy every bag on the shelves. The staff watched in astonishment as they busily packaged the numerous bags for the couple. But the next day, My Mo woke up to a startling sight, a mountain of shopping bags. Her heart skipped a beat. Flustered and unsure what to do, she resorted to returning all the bags. The store employees, clearly annoyed at being played like this, glared at the couple, barely suppressing their urge to give them a piece of their minds. However, the customer is always right, so they gritted their teeth and processed the returns. Despite this less than pleasant shopping experience, their affection for each other only grew. That evening, they were inseparable, the air between them crackling with heat as they shared passionate kisses. They slept late the next morning, waking only after the sun was high in the sky. Their bond had deepened to the point where they couldn't bear to be apart for even a second. However, it was at this point that My Mo noticed Soo Hyuk's son acting coldly towards her. She initially dismissed it as her imagination, but the boy's continued indifference worried her. Determined to mend their relationship, she shadowed him, hoping to find a breakthrough. She finally realized that he was simply missing his mother. Once the misunderstanding was cleared up, their relationship began to improve. Soon, it was the boy's birthday. Soo Hyuk invited My Mo to dinner with him and his son, also mentioning that they would meet his sister. My Mo started shopping for a gift for Soo Hyuk's son, but unexpectedly ran into her ex-husband. Even more surprising, their itineraries seemed identical, giving them both a sense of foreboding. Upon arriving at the restaurant, they were both shocked to discover that Soo Hyuk's sister was her ex-husband's girlfriend. Having just run into her ex-husband, she now found out that her boyfriend's sister was dating him. Both she and her ex-husband were stunned. To avoid revealing their past marriage, they pretended not to know each other. But their awkwardness quickly gave them away. My Mo was forced to lie, claiming her ex-husband was a former anti-fan and that she had left the group long ago, making their current relationship somewhere between familiar and unfamiliar. Although the excuse was flimsy, no one pressed the matter further. After that awkward dinner, My Mo remained uneasy. She intended to confess to Soo Hyuk but couldn't bring herself to say the words. She spent every day in a state of anxiety, trying to figure out what to do next. Finally, she came up with a plan to negotiate with her ex-husband. She hoped to persuade him to break up with his girlfriend, but he delivered a harsh truth: they were getting married in a week. He pointed out that she and Soo Hyuk hadn't even consulted a fortune teller yet. Following the principle of first come, first served, he argued that she was the one who should back down. After learning this harsh reality, My Mo fell into despair. She loved Soo Hyuk too much to accept breaking up with him. So, she made the difficult decision to tell Soo Hyuk about her past with her ex-husband and then suggest they break up. Unexpectedly, Soo Hyuk revealed another truth. He and his sister weren't actually blood related. They had simply grown up together. Because they were as close as family, they had always called each other brother and sister. Understanding the situation, My Mo was immensely relieved. She rushed to Soo Hyuk and embraced him tightly. This scene was witnessed by his sister, who immediately realized she no longer had a chance. After navigating countless ups and downs, Soo Hyuk finally understood his own heart. He called a friend to help him decorate his house. When My Mo returned from work, she saw a red carpet meticulously laid out by Soo Hyuk. He and his son were waiting for her at the front door. Soo Hyuk then reminisced with My Mo about how they met. Touched by Soo Hyuk's thoughtful preparations, My Mo couldn't hide her joy. Seizing the opportunity, Soo Hyuk presented her with the engagement ring he had prepared. But to everyone's surprise, My Mo refused. Her reason was that she loved him so much, she was afraid of losing him one day. To ensure they could stay together until old age, she suggested they live together first. Soo Hyuk was dumbfounded. He wanted to reason with her, but My Mo was resolute. He had no choice but to accept. They began living together. Soo Hyuk had envisioned a blissful cohabitation, but he soon discovered My Mo's messy habits. She disliked cleaning and chores, even leaving food scraps around, creating a breeding ground for Xiao Qiang. This led to increasing conflict, eventually culminating in My Mo packing her bags and returning to her own home. Seeing the situation deteriorate, Soo Hyuk realized the importance of tolerance in a relationship. He apologized to My Mo, and she, recognizing her own shortcomings, admitted her faults. They quickly reconciled. As their relationship blossomed anew, Soo Hyuk was involved in a car accident. My Mo was heartbroken when she saw him bandaged in a hospital bed, unable to believe what had happened. But then, Soo Hyuk suddenly appeared behind her. Despite the accident, he had only suffered minor injuries. My Mo wept with relief. After this experience, she resolved to marry him. Soon after, Da Young and her husband held a vow renewal ceremony to celebrate their reconciled relationship. As the ceremony neared its end, Soo Hyuk rushed to catch the bouquet, planning to propose to My Mo again. Unexpectedly, My Mo stopped him. Instead, she proposed to him. Overjoyed, Soo Hyuk swept her into his arms.